Hi. Today I wanted to talk about Henry Latham, this book, Pastorum, which means shepherd of shepherds. Of course, Latham is talking about Jesus of Nazareth and how it was that he taught his disciples. This is a relatively unknown book. The more famous book on that subject is A.B. Bruce's book called The Training of the 12. But this one is just as valuable, if not more so. In fact, I made more notes in this than I did in Bruce's book. Pastorum. Henry Latham is fairly unknown to modern Christians, but he was quite prominent, wrote several books in the 1890s, died in 1902. He was the principal of Trinity Hall in Cambridge. In fact, he built parts of it, as I understand it, back in the late 19th century. This particular book memorably deals with quite a few different subjects. One of them that struck me particularly hard is his analysis of one of the stumbling blocks among Jesus' sayings. What did Jesus say that stumbled men? Well, many things. One of the things he said that must have stumbled many of his hearers at the time was, "To him who has much, much will be given, but to him who has little, even what he has will be taken away." That doesn't sound like our modern notions of equality at all. Fairness, justice. Now, what did Jesus mean when he said that to him who had, more was given? Well, this is how Latham analyzes that saying. The aphorism that to him who had, more was given was, as applied to material wealth, in some form or other, probably familiar to the shrewd men of the time, just as the saying that nothing succeeds like success is among ourselves now. But what was startling was that this principle should be adopted by Christ and laid down as one of those upon which God's government is carried on. For this inequality in human conditions and the tendency to rise faster the higher one gets and to sink faster the lower one falls was a thing that was commonly regarded as a defect in the world's government, in the world's arrangement, due to some inherent perversity in matter or in man. People's minds in those days were possessed by the notion that God must have intended to make things fair and equal for all, but that inequality had slipped into the world in the making when God's eyes was off it for a moment. Soon, however, the Messiah would come and set this right, among other things. Hence it startled our Lord's hearers to find this defect, as they deemed it, in the order of the world brought forward by him, and not only not explained away as they would have expected, but set forth as among the laws according to which the spiritual order of the world was carried on. From the prominence given to this statement in the narrative of the three earlier Gospels, it's in all three, we see what a deep impression it made. Our Lord applies this aphorism solely to the advantages and opportunities which men should have for learning the ways of God. But the analogy between this principle and some observed principles of economic and organic science is very striking and interesting, to say no more. While in education, the working of this rule is abundantly obvious to every school, that the world is ordered on a basis not of equality, but of inequality, is a patent fact. Lately it has been shown that it is of inequality that all progress comes. One little superiority, due to what seems an accidental variation, gives an advantage for gaining a greater superiority, and so on. Uniformity, indeed, implies stagnation. If all men had just the same powers of mind and character, would not such a world stagnate from its insupportable dullness and the want of stimulus for the faculties of men? If at every step it grew harder to get farther on, then no one could go very far. A bullet fired into a tree, which hardens from the bark to the core, is brought to a standstill very soon. Such a state of things would preclude exalted eminence. Mediocrity would reign supreme, and the onward march of mankind would be checked. Our Lord, as a fact, asserts not only that inequalities widen, but also that they are purposely so widened. And he finishes his thought by saying this: all progress comes of individual excellence, and the world is so ordered as to favor the growth of one beginning to out-talk the rest. It is an aid in this direction that in education advance becomes commonly easier and always more pleasurable as we proceed. So that's Henry Latham on equality and inequality, and on one of the more scandalous things that our Lord Jesus said.
See you next time.